Hello everyone, and let's talk about my honest opinions on patch 5.2, the war for Iokath. So we'll start off with the main thing is that it's boring, really. That's what it is. Iokath is really boring. I have to say the dailies are far too long, in my opinion, for the rewards that they give you. You are there far too long doing the one quest. Seriously. I mean, they give you the same as, I think it's the same as every other daily quest in the game. Amount of CXP reward, that is. And, you know, you kind of don't really need the CXP anymore unless you're not raiding, of course. But I find myself, I did the dailies twice, maybe, and I was like, I couldn't even finish 10 for the weekly quest. I was like, nah, I'm kind of bored, I'm kind of done. I spent an hour and a half doing 2 quests in an hour and a half, and it's like, I could have ran Section X, the Black Hole, what else have we got, Oricon, CZ198, I could have ran all of them. I could have got about 4 or 5 times the command XP rather than being here. It's not efficient, is what I'm saying. Dailies should be efficient. And dailies are filler content. I mean, the story content was okay. I was okay with it. I like the fact it leads to something else. The ending was a bit meh. But the story is not done on Iokath. It wasn't done in patch 5.2. It is going to continue. Of course, we're going to get new content every 2 months. Well, a new raid boss every 2 months. And I would imagine you'll get some new story along with that new raid content. You've got Tithe, which I haven't bothered with yet, to be honest. I haven't done that yet. Finding a group for it can be quite difficult. I'm not in a guild anymore. I do have a guild, but they don't... None of them play the game. They left well before 5.0 came out. And I think a lot of people are in kind of the same boat, really. A lot of guilds broke up. There's still guilds out there that are doing content, but I haven't had a go at Tithe yet. I don't really have any interest in doing it, to be honest with you. I don't want to do it on a regular basis. I kind of just want to get in there, kill him in story mode, and then, you know, wait. Maybe at the end, when the raid is released, the full raid, maybe we'll have more interest. But it's only one boss, so I'm like, meh, I don't really care. Another thing I should point out is sorcerers suck. I've had enough of the sorcerer. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not playing a Sorc anymore. Mobs just have far too much health, and the Sorc does so little damage and does so little AoE damage. It's ridiculous. Why is every single mob spread out? Seriously, what is wrong with these people? Surely we want to kill mobs efficiently. We do not want to spend time fighting trash mobs. There's so much trash as well on Iokath, even in instanced areas. It's like, fuck this, I'm going to play a stealther. I might just go play the operative. At least the operative now has decent AoE. I leveled the operative and I leveled my scoundrel. The AoE is quite decent. I like the little, I call them the lawnmower blades for the scoundrel. You put them out and it does the little spinny things. They are kind of cool. They're like lawnmower blades spinning and just do damage. And you get shotgun cleave. And the operative's pretty good. You get like a sort of... It's like it's death and decay, basically, if you play World of Warcraft. You basically put it out, or consecration, if you're a paladin. Fairly similar to that. You put out like noxious gas, and anyone who stands in it, weak enemies get stunned and they just take damage. The scoundrel puts out spinny blades, which is nice. They also have a little... I call it fan of knives, only it's a conal where they throw out the poison blades at the thing. That's quite nice on the operative. The other big thing is, yeah, mobs that are spread out. You can't group them together. I want to group them together and AoE them. I was doing it as the Vanguard, and I ended up just taking accelerated reel because I was using harpoon on cooldown. Because I'm pulling things in and AoEing them, that's what I want. But then on a class that doesn't have a pull, you're like... I gotta kill them one by one. No way am I ever gonna play as an assassin. I'm not gonna play as deception assassin. Hell no, we don't have any AoE for a start. We have very little AoE. We're gonna go in here and have, you know, kill it one by one. And, you know, get our... One by one killing is boring. One by one is so bad. let's just have some AoE. We've got AoE in the game, and of course with the sorcerer they nerfed the range of, or the radius of death field. That was smart. Now we're fucking death field 2 enemies out of 3. And you have to go manually put dots up on a 3rd enemy. Jesus Christ, is this boring as hell. It takes you like 20 minutes to kill anything. And I'm 230 geared. The thing is, my Vanguard, who's 224 geared, kills anything way quicker than a sorcerer. That's how bad the sorcerers are. You've got a class with gear from the last expansion that can kill things quicker than a class with gear from the current expansion. And they want to talk class balance? Seriously. This is not the patch is it gonna bring people back? Yeah, it probably is, but are you gonna stay? Not with this content. The other thing is gating content behind those Iokath power shards, or Apexis crystals as I refer them to. They basically looked at World of Warcraft and thought, oh, Apexis crystals, they seem popular, people like them. If you want to know what Apexis crystals are, go and do a search for anyone ranting about Apexis crystals on World of Warcraft and see how popular they were. I mean, they are still, well, there's nether shards are the equivalent in Legion, but they're not as prevalent as Apexis crystals were in Warlords of Draenor. But yeah, someone at Swotor thought, oh, Apexis crystals, they seem like a good idea. So if you don't know what you use the Iokath power shard for, use them to buy the reputation equipment is one of the things. You can buy grade 10 crafting materials, and you can do quests. Yes, we are gating quests behind currencies now. That's how bad it is. That's how bad this game has become. Just when you think it can't get any lower, we hit a new low. So you want to do a quest where you have to go in a vehicle and kill things in a vehicle. So that's the quest, basically. Go in a vehicle, kill things, but it costs you credits to rent the vehicle, I guess, and Iokath power shards. So I couldn't do a quest because I didn't have enough Iokath power shards. And how do you get Iokath power shards? You grind mobs. Awesome. It's just not worth it, really. In the end, you're like, nah, I'm just gonna go somewhere else and quest at the end of the day, because heroic quests give you better credit rewards, and well, if you include the boxes that you get as well, it's better credit rewards, and dailies give you better CXP, and you can still sort of farm content. You don't get as much CXP now from farming content. You can do operations, really. I think they're the best method of getting CXP in this patch, although I haven't really researched it. I lasted 2 days in the patch before I was like, nah, I'm not going back to Iokath. I'm probably not going to log in and play this character anymore. I kind of gave up on the sorcerer, which was a shame because we were just reaching the end of tier 1, and the thought of going back and doing an operative, or maybe an operative, maybe the Vanguard I might play, just see if we could convince people to come back for Tithe. That's a sad state of SWTOR, when you have to sort of look at people and go, please come back to SWTOR, please come back, and they're like, nah. It's like, why should I come back? It's like, well, you've got Iokath, there's this one boss you could fight, or you could just wait to the end and come back and do a whole raid. Again, it's the same pricing model as 4.0, you know, it's the same principle applies. Why pay per boss, the same as paying per chapter, when you can just pay for the whole raid at the end? You can just come back at the end and get 5 bosses, and most of the strategies will already been worked out by then, so it'll probably be in Group Finder as well. That's another thing that they really have to update. It's about time we updated the Group Finder now. There are a few quests on Iokath that do require you to find a group. Now, if you're an Imperial player that sided with the Republic, as I did, because I wanted Alara. I had Alara to that traitor Quinn. Gonna kill that traitor. You don't even get to kill Quinn in it if you pick Alara, which is a shame, I think. There's a real opportunity there to get some satisfaction. So naturally, if you're a Marauder, you're probably gonna side with the Republic, because you get to at least have you know, get to confront that bloody traitor. But anyway, the point is that you can group up with Republic players. The only problem is you can't speak to them in general chat. That's a huge glaring omission. So you've got a few quests that do require a group, What would have been nice if we had something like WoW's pre-made group finder where you could just click the quest and it shows you, you know, everyone who wants to find a group. You could start your own group, obviously, set your own parameters to join it, and basically if someone clicks it, they get invited and they get summoned to the point where the quest is. That would be so much easier. Instead you have to go around and chat, and it's kind of annoying. This game's been out for 6 years and we've never had an improved group finder. I don't like the daily group operation either. I hate that system. I think we should be player choice which operation that they do. I think getting rid of the group finder in its current form, and again, we did a video on this a few years ago. That's how long we've been going on about group finder. The Secret World and World of Warcraft have so much better group finder tools. I mean, WoW still has the queue system, but it also has the pre-made group finder, which is way better than the queue system. I mean, there's some content that you can't do via the queue system. If you want to do mythic dungeons, or if you want to do sort of normal mode above raids, then you can queue with the, you can't queue for the group finder. You have to use the pre-made group finder. I think something like that in Star Wars: The Old Republic would make it easier to find groups. That's always been the biggest complaint about this game. Is yes, it's a 6-year-old game. It's heading into its 7th year almost, and we still don't have a decent method of finding groups, and it's been so long. Just throwing everything into the group finder and queuing for it didn't work. We tried that before. I think when the group finder first launched, it had heroic quests in it. They were all in it, but the problem was it didn't have a specific heroic quest that you could queue for. And having a pre-made group finder means that what you could do is just list the quest, call it a bounty board or something like that. Just post up what you're looking for, the name of the quest. You leave a tank, two tanks, 2 healers, and 1 DPS, let's say. And then you can just click, and then you hit apply, and you can accept. You can see, you know, maybe see their gear, whatever. But you can do that, and it would be so much easier. There's so much, or the other solution is just to get rid of mob tagging and just let groups form naturally without having an invite system, because mob tagging is again another feature that's out of date. World of Warcraft got rid of it in Legion, which again makes the expansion so much better because you can just help each other out while questing. It makes the game more, not social because you're not really interacting with anybody, but it does make other people in the quest area more sort of welcome. You know, you like seeing other people in the quest area because, hey, if there's 2 or 3 of us attacking this mob, we get it killed faster, we get our daily done faster, we get our dailies in faster, and we get our rewards faster, because that's what dailies are about. Dailies essentially are reward driven. Very few people would do them at end game, of course, if they're not reward driven. I just don't think the rewards are good enough at the moment. I just don't think that we're really getting it. They really need to give 2 or 3 times the CXP of other daily quests. That way it gives you the incentive to go to Iokath and to stay there. I like the story, I like the choice, whether to side with the Republic or Empire. It is weird running around the Republic base as a sorcerer. Kind of has an interesting novelty to it. I like that. But overall, boring, really. The snooze on Iokath, maybe they should have called it, rather than the war on Iokath. But anyway, overall I think boring. But is it a disaster? It's not a disaster, it just needs to be tweaked, I think. It could be sorted with a bit of tweaking. Lowering the cost, not the credit cost, but the Iokath power shard cost. Just lower the cost of the piloting the walkers and things like that, and then make it a bit more accessible and get more people into doing those things. Get rid of mob tagging is a thing. I think improving the group finder would be a huge quality of life improvement for the game. Come on, Keith. Save us, Keith. You're our only hope. But anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.